tell us, and we encourage tithing.
Right.
Tell us what is your intention to give. And in my memory, Brother Jim, I think it must have, in all the years, 40-odd years, I don't know that any year that we have missed the target.
Mm.
That we have long surpassed the target.
Mm.
And we have had,
So, like you set the goal, you have something to work towards, and people like bypass it. So,
but that is key, Brother Jim, because I'm saying, you are saying we should do this, we should do that, and we should do that. Now, how are we going to do it? And I must tell the truth, there are times when people did not particularly like that. They say, what I give is between God and I.
Right.
All right. That sounds good. That sounds good. However, when they need help and they come now,
right,
they tell you what they want. It is no longer between them and God.
Between them and God and you.
Exactly. They don't mind, how much they want to take out. But they were guarded as to how much they should give.
Right.
I said, no. That is immoral.
So part of it then is the teaching, because I've heard you allude to the fact that I think if there's any shortcoming, and I know it's a challenge in the OT church also, like we're afraid to teach about tithing.
Yes.
We're afraid to talk about money.
Yes.
Because of fear that people will say that's all we're after. When in truth and in fact, it might just be a small percentage of all the things you talk about in the church. But it is one of the things that we shouldn't be afraid to talk about. So I think it's commendable that like you have that structure. But
beside that, Virgin, apart from it, it is that there is full accountability.
Right.
Everything in our financial record is open to anybody. You can question anything. All of our accounts are there, open. In fact, when we have our congregational meet, it's there, and you can question anything. Any expenditure you think, or whatever in propriety, you can question it.
So, did you want, like as you were raising up Peter, did you want him to go into ministry? Is that something you encouraged him to do or wanted him to do?
He demonstrated his potential.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, he made it clear he had a call. God had a call
on his life.
And from all appearance, okay? And it is, to me, he's a gifted teacher and speaker. You with me?
Right.
So, it had to be demonstrated before.
Right. But I know every parent have desires for their kids.
Yes.
You want them to go to school and do well and get a good job and get good salary, get in the profession. Is ministry one of the things you envision for him, even without telling him, talking about it? Is that something that was in your heart for him?
It was in my heart, but I didn't want to force the issue.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted to almost, like I say, to evolve. When I saw the potential, in fact, without any serious pressure on my part, he elected to go to Bible school.
Mm.
In fact, he'd say one of the first ones that influenced him earlier was Denzel Wellness, right?
Right.
But he elected to go to Bible school without any serious encouragement, at his own expense. The church never contributed $1 to his study Bible school.
So, what are some of the trends you see? And by the way, you mentioned Denzel Wellness. I think he influenced me without us ever having a conversation.
Yeah.
Because when I saw Denzel, I saw an intellectual who was also Christian.
Yes.
And that was very appealing to me. I mean, it really just made a mark on my way of thinking about the work. Mm-hmm. So that he was like really very influential without us having that conversation.
Yes. He is sincere, he's an unassuming person, and he's committed,
Yeah. Well, what are some of the trends you see in the church today, the church in general, and maybe even in the Church of Christ, that you find hard to accept?
All right. A number of them. Number one, people have to understand that leadership, right, is a place of serious responsibility. In other words, there are a lot of people like to, when you're a leader, you sit up on a platform and you insist that people call you elder and deacon. No. It's a place of serious responsibility and accountability. That's number one. Number two, we have to come to grips, Brother Jim, with the situation that 80% or over 80% of the people that are in college or higher education are women. We have to deal with that.
Right.
When I look in the church, I had to say it recently, where are women going to get partners in life? The Moravian, the Baptist, the Methodist are all now
headed by women.
And not united. Not united. And the Moravian, Baptist,
and the Methodist,
they're all headed by women. And it is something that we have to deal with. You can't bury your head in the sand anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something been happening with our male students,
yes.
Male workers,
yes.
Male, just the male in the community where we're not achieving and accomplishing as we should.
Yes.
And it's not a negative for women to succeed and be doing, but like the society depend on the balance.
Yes.
And like we're out of balance now.
Very much so.
And unfortunately, the church has always been dominated by women,
yes.
in terms of the numbers.
Indeed.
And then the few men like ended up in the leadership role. And so, maybe one of the challenges for the church is to look at building a base where they recruit more men.
But and not only so, I've been thinking about this, Brother Jim, and I think what is happening is that we have quite a number of qualified teachers, and we must look at where we see some of these promising young men and decide that if there are areas of deficiency, the church take over. It means extra lesson, whatever we have to do.
Right. Some kind of intervention.
Intervention is needed.
Intervention. So you have like at least 50 years in doing church work.
Yes. Well, 56, over 60 years.
Okay. So I mean, that's a long time. Just reflecting. If you were to say sum up what you have seen, done, and looking forward to, in a couple of sentences, what would you say?
Number one, we must pay attention to structure. With structure, we are paving the way for the future. You with me? Because you are going to have failures in individuals, right? But make sure that we do have a systemic failure. We have a structure that can survive even when men fail. And to me, there is supposed to be a national outlook. To say, for instance, Brother Jim, where don't we have churches? Why don't we have churches there? How are we going to get churches put there? You with me? There's never been a national program that do around which everybody coalesce and can agree and can contribute. There's not that. And to me, we don't have that. It's just a matter of time. You are going to be affected.
Oh yeah. If there's no growth, then you know that
exactly.
Death is coming.
Because very often what we are looking at now, and you mentioned the Portmore Church, but looking down the road, if you can take congregation, ask the question, who is coming after the present leader?
Right.
Key, who is there? is coming, who do we see will succeed the present leadership? And let me tell you something, when we look down, it's almost frightening.
Scary. So I have two final questions for you. And one has to do with like what we've been hearing in the news, especially in America, about like priests sexually abusing congregants, but also in the Baptist church, like they did some research recently and they found out that like there was just a high level of sexual abuse in the church by these ministers, and even priests here in Jamaica have been tainted by it. There's this one woman who is active in the movement. She grew up here in Jamaica, and she said she was raped by a priest and impregnated twice, and he encouraged her to have abortion. What's your sense of this business of ministers and church workers abusing their role, abusing children, abusing girls, abusing boys, and just betraying the trust that has been given to them?
All right, well, a few views. Number one, in the Catholic Church, right, I'm yet to see where celibacy of the clergy is taught in Scripture. I don't see it. And to me, when you go down that road,
inviting trouble.
You invite in trouble.
Yeah.
Number two, I hear under the Sunday Cleaner, one person is defending another person and saying that he think it is something about
mental health. Yeah, I saw that.
My own view is, I believe, not mental health, but tiredness. Right? The ministry sometimes is a lonely road. Right? There isn't a support system built around leaders and pastors. You don't have that.
Right.
In fact, where I've seen it work is a group of pastors get together and they covenant and say, listen, we are going to hold ourselves accountable to each other. And listen, you say, if there's anything in my life that you see,
yes, you need to speak to it.
And say, Lana, and him say, give me the right. If I'm not satisfied with the answer you give me the right to ask you
what about your problem.
You hear me, Jim? They say, and that's a covenant, right? That's a Jim. If I see something and you give me an answer, I'm not pleased with it, give me the right to ask
follow up.
To ask you why.
Yeah.
And the same thing for me. I'm open. You can check with my
So it's a covenant relationship between
that
clergy.
The clergy is alone out there, Jim. There's no support system. He is supposed to help everybody. There's nobody. And the pastor must understand our vulnerability and build a defense around us. And because, you see, Jim, the fact is that, as we say, that's why I've always said, pastors, if you notice, pastors have daughters, right? I don't know if you ever notice it. But, all right. We understand and we care for women, right? And it is not uncommon for people to put their trust in you and for that trust to be abused. So you have to build in the safeguard. Don't wait until the trouble starts.
Right.
Build it from now and understand and test it.
Right. But Paul said, be careful when you think that you're strong.
Exactly.
Lest you fall.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to build safeguards against that. I think a lot of people willing to tempt fate.
No. You the pastor minister to everybody, who minister to the pastor.
So the research has shown that there is a high level of stress and like just serious mental health challenges for ministers because again of the sense of isolation and the elevation that we give to people. We put them on a pedestal and so they're above looking down and less more mortal as it were, and they face the same challenges as everybody else does.
Indeed.
But then, as you say, who do they go to?
Who do they go to? The other thing is, what pastors do understand, because, listen, your first responsibility is to your family, not to the church. We can get so caught up and tell you, boy, I understand, man, I'm doing this to the, I do the church. We beat on the wife and children. You understand? No. God give you your first responsibility.
Yeah. That's the primary unit, the family.
Your family.
The family.
You neglect that to your parents.
So, tell me in a word, not just one word, but this is the final question for you. What do you want future generation, like people who don't know Brother Mali, to know about Winston Malcolm? Telephone company exec, minister, Christian, father, husband, community pillar.
That God found me and has blessed me in so many wonderful ways. I can't repay him for his blessing, but I'm going to try to find ways to please him. I know I can't repay. I cannot, right? But the interest, I maintain an interest in the church and what is happening. You know, nothing. Some people call it a visionary, but right, a visionary is one thing, but to be caring, right? One. Two, I have a way of attending people at the details, right? Somebody going to, somebody with the best will ever, somebody is